Good morning, guys. So it is a lovely Tuesday morning. The sun is shining, and we're live. I'm actually live like an hour early than I normally am. I actually have to go to the doctor to do blood work for my annual physical. So, and of course, it's at like 10:40. So I figured I'd hop on early and do a quick live stream. I had wanted to do this as more of a sit-down vlog, but I was like, well, didn't really have, I'd been so busy, so I hadn't collected any travel news. So instead of just hodgepodging it together, I figured I'd just talk about this topic that I've had my notes on and just haven't gotten around to recording a video. But if you're planning a Japan vacation, these apps could be pretty helpful in your travels. And if you are looking for a travel agent, I am taking clients right now. So just hit me up in the description below. But yeah, so let's get on with the topic. So I did post a video I think early in March, regarding kind of Klook versus Booking Direct. And I pretty much talked about Disney and the SmartX app versus Klook. And I'll go over a little bit. If you haven't watched that, you can check it out. I think it was like March 2nd or 3rd when I posted that. But I'll link it in the description later. But Klook is a very good app. And I do have a referral link. If you're interested, I'll post it. It's not an affiliate, it's just a referral. I think you get something off. But Klook is, I think what's great about Klook is that their website is more for Westerners. Because some of the Japan websites, like how they're structured is a little weird and almost like an homage to GeoCities time frame. And if you know what GeoCities are, I just probably aged myself, but it reminds me of the GeoCity age, that kind of website design. So sometimes like booking through the websites are kind of clunky. The SmartX app is a little like, it's not too clunky, but it's not as streamlined as Klook. I feel like the Klook app is much better. And also, I think something I didn't really remember because I hadn't personally had any issues is that sometimes people do have issues with their bank cards. So I'll pause. I don't know if you could see that. That's the Klook app. It's very, there you go. That's a Klook app. So anyways, what's good about Klook is that most American, I can't speak for Brits or anybody else, but I feel like Klook has the better percentage of your card working without any of the bank issues. I feel like when you go to some of the Japan-based apps, sometimes it gets a little screwy for some people. And again, I never had any experience like this. The most that I had was that my bank would verify, like, hey, is this you? And I would be like, yes, and then it would let the transaction through. So I personally didn't have it, but if you are having a lot of issues like that, Klook might be a great app for you to download, and, like, it is like a travel agency, kind of like Expedia. So there are a lot of, you could book your whole freaking Japan vacation if you really wanted to. But you should go with a travel agent like me. But anyways, shameless plug. But they have activities, they have hotels, ryokans. You can get the eSIM. I got the eSIM even though I have the international plan. There were just a few spots. I didn't like it. It didn't work. So it was it wasn't a waste of money because Klook was like, here's an eSIM for free because you bought something from it. And yeah, it was garbage. So, I wouldn't even waste your time. What else? I guess you could do car rentals. You can book your Shinkansen rides on this app. I bought the Oslo Day Pass through the app, and it was great because they had the QR code, so some turnstiles in the Shinkansen or rail, I should say, like the subways, will have a QR code. You just have it all on your phone. So it's actually pretty great. So I do think like the Klook app is actually pretty good. And I did use the SmartX app to use for like because like one of my routes I was able to get like the green car for much cheaper because Klook does have a lot of sales too, so that's another like benefit. Like sometimes they'll throw a sale at you, and so you can get like the train tickets cheaper, or you can get like Disney tickets just a little bit cheaper because they're running a sale at the time. But the green car for I think it was Shinkobe to Osaka, they weren't running a sale, so it was actually cheaper for me to go through actually JR, and then I didn't buy the ticket through JR. I actually did it on my browser, but the ticket transferred to the app, and I was able to use it just fine. So if you are booking your tickets direct through the JR, and I can't speak for all the JRs because I know some of the JRs are different, but the ones that like was like Kyoto, Osaka, Kobe, they all transferred to the app just fine. I was able to use the tickets. I was able to ask for a refund for one of my tickets because the typhoon messed up my plans. So it's not the most like I can't log back into it. And I don't really want to deal with it right now. But because it is a little temperamental, but I think it worked better in Japan. So it might just be I'm back in the US and it's just like giving me hassle right now. But I'm not messing with it because I'm not going back to Japan until November. But that is a great, way to if just like price things out. That's like that's not like a hack or anything, but like I was able to get the green car for a little bit cheaper than I could get on Klook, and so yeah, and then the app was fine. Another major app that you should download, or I mean, if you have it, I don't know about Apple, but Android, you should have it, is Google Maps. And I know it's on Apple too, but Google Maps, you're gonna use it. You're gonna use it to find restaurants. You're gonna use it to find your like walking around. It's for the subway system, it's very helpful because it will tell you where to go, and as long as you can read the signs and figure things out, which sometimes is hard. I'm not gonna lie. There was like a couple of times where I got really frustrated because I couldn't figure it out, and there was like one time I think Google told me to like get off of a one train station, and when I got off, it wasn't the right train station. So it's not 100%. It's still Google Maps, but I felt like 90% of the time it was on point. So definitely have Google Maps handy. I heard from like one of these YouTubers, they're like if you like search for things in the actual Japanese, you'll get more like local, like personal, like local suggestions. But if you like do everything in your native language, like English is mine, you might get like the more touristy suggestions, and I'm talking about restaurants and stuff like that. I don't really know if that's true. I mean, for the most part, either I had restaurants or tourist attractions in mind, or I just jumped into a shop. Like when I was in Asakusa, I just went into a restaurant. No reviews or anything, just walked in. So, I mean, sure. I mean, that might be a hack. I don't know if it is, but that's like part of traveling, just exploring. And sometimes you'll hit a good restaurant and sometimes you might not hit a good restaurant. But actually, let's like segue. A good segue is restaurants. Table check. And I'm going to use all these apps when I go back to Japan too. So, Table check needs an update. So tablecheck.com. So I'll talk about this one. So basically it's like what is the American version? Kind of like open table or Resi. It's just like it's like a I mean, I don't know if it's only in Japan, but it's kind of like a reservation. So you can I just pulled it up. I guess it's they're needing to update it, so it's not actually. It just told me to go to the website. um, but you can explore by city. So, like right now, they have Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Yokohama, Fukuoka, Hokkaido, Okinawa, Nagoya. So, or you can browse by cuisine, Japanese, sushi, Italian, French, Chinese, American, yakiniku, and Korean barbecue, Thai, Mexican. Be interesting to try Mexican food in Japan. I don't know if I will, but there's actually, this is like a side note. Um, there's actually like a Cuban food truck in like Tokyo area, and my husband is Cuban, and so it'd be really fun to like find them. Um, they have an Instagram. I don't remember what their name is right now, but I kind of do want to hit them up if we can our next Japan trip, because I really would like to eat Cuban food in Japan. I know. My husband and I joke that that should be our next travel goal, is to like hit Cuban food in each country, because it comes from like my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law when they went for their honeymoon in Poland, because my sister-in-law's family is Polish. They actually found a Cuban restaurant in Poland. So I was like, oh, maybe we can do that. Hello, delayed Dave. Good morning, or actually good afternoon. So, yeah, we're gonna try and find them. Sometimes they post their schedule, sometimes I guess it's like they're not working. So, but back to table check. You can log in and you can book. I booked two experiences that I both canceled. So it's easy to cancel as well. I canceled one because I didn't think that I'd make it in time, and the other one I canceled because the typhoon diverted my plans. I know, I really want to try it. I heard it's really good. And I hear actually Japanese people like Cuban food, because I remember I was listening to the Broad in Japan podcast, and I think him and Connor had Cuban sandwiches somewhere in South Japan. And I'm like, it's just amusing. But I mean, Japan has really good pork. So, I mean, I would be interested in a Cuban sandwich in Japan. So hopefully we can make that happen in November. Um, but back to Table Check. Table Check's really good. You can search by. There's also a few other ones, but I just kept it simple. I didn't want to get too crazy with other apps. When I first downloaded it, I had created a Gmail account. Like I logged in with my Gmail, but the app wouldn't let me do that. But last week when I tested it, I guess they've integrated the app where if you are like me who use the Gmail sign in, it worked. But it's pretty easy. I mean, you just find where you want to go, and it will tell you, like you could search by budget, you could search the time that you want to go, and it'll just pull up the availabilities. Sometimes if you go to, like, say you have a restaurant in mind, you can just go to that website and usually it'll send you on. And like I mentioned, there are a few other sites like this. So it's kind of like with American restaurants. Like some use Open Table, and then some use Resi, and then I think there's another one that's out there. So it's just kind of like, it's like the same thing. The different restaurants have their different booking windows. But I like it. I like the app. I was able to cancel. I did make, no, I made 3 reservations. That's right. And I did go, and there was no problem. I checked in and everything was fine. So yeah, so Table Check, good option. And like I mentioned, there are a few others. So if you have a restaurant in mind, you might have to maybe download that app if they have an app where you have to book through their booking window. So let's talk about translation. So Google Translate has been a little weird lately. I know someone told me that, oh yeah, it's kind of been weird, and it kind of was a little weird. It wasn't weird like that it's like glitching or anything. But I just felt like it was just not it just wasn't as quick as it used to be. But someone suggested, and I forgot who it was. Someone suggested Papago, and it's Papago, and their logo is a little parrot. Now, I thought they had all of the languages in here, but no, they only have a few. They have Korean, English, Japanese, Chinese, simplified, and traditional, Thai, Indonesian, Spanish, French, Russian, German, Italian, and Arabic. So, and I actually used this twice. Actually, a couple times, not just twice. But when I was at one of the sushi restaurants, me and the waiter just had a full conversation. Hi, Catherine. We had pretty much a full conversation with the app. Like, he would speak into it, it would translate, I would read it, then I would switch the language, because you have to switch it, and then I would tell it what to do or type it in, and then it would translate and he would read it. So we had like a full conversation using the Papago app. And then, I tried, like, it was, I had a guy in one of the stations when I was trying to figure out what to do after I found out my train got canceled to go to Kyoto. He was sitting next to me and I tried using it with him, but he didn't want to do it. I think because he was like drinking and just being drunk. But I also used it on my way back to the US because there was a Vietnamese family. It was a dad and a daughter, and their flight got canceled. They were supposed to be on the flight that I was on. And so they were very confused, and like United staff was being not nice, and we were trying to figure out their situation, and finally I helped them, and then I got them through security because they didn't know they had to get their bags. And so the app was actually really handy for that because it seemed to work on the airplane because the internet wasn't that great. So yeah, I don't even think that made it into a vlog, but yeah, I adopted a Vietnamese family on my way back briefly, and we used Papago to translate. So I think it's really quick, but I think if you don't have any of those languages, then yeah, I wish it had more because I was sitting here trying to figure out where Norwegian was, and then I was like, oh, there is no Norwegian. So I don't know who owns Papago, but add Norwegian. Or if there is another way, maybe we should suggest it to them. It could also be maybe you have to pay for it, for other things. I'm not sure. Oh, I guess you can pay for something, but it doesn't seem like it still has Norwegian, so I can't use it for my Norway trips. But I mean, most, like 90% of Norwegians that I've come across speak English. It's just sometimes like reading the menu helps to have like a good translator. But so yeah, so Papago, thumbs up. Whoever I heard it from, thank you, because it was awesome. I think it was a YouTube video. It probably was. So kudos to that YouTuber. I'll talk about transportation next. So transportation. So I think before Uber wasn't really huge, didn't have a really huge presence in Japan. I'm not sure when it changed, but I did use the Uber app to call taxis here and there, and I also would just when did I use it? There's Go, but I don't think I used Go. But Go is an alternative. They were running a coupon code, so I think I might have used Go once. I can't remember. But I end up using Uber more because I'm more familiar with Uber. And Uber, I felt like so let me back up. Sorry. I haven't had coffee because I'm fasting because I have to do blood work. So I'm like, and I'm so hungry. But anyways, I need to finish up by 10, so I can get to the doctor. But, so Uber in Japan, they are taxis. So it's not like in the US where it could be some random Joe who has an approved, like, because I think they have an approval process to get into the Uber program. They can't have like a beater car. But still, like, they're taxi cars. And so you get charged. You see the pricing in the app, and what I like, what I preferred about doing the taxis this way using Uber is that you knew exactly where you were going because it was in the app. When I did like some like my Kobe trip, I didn't know that there was a Kobe station and a Shin Kobe. So the taxi driver dropped me off at Kobe, and that was just a translation thing. I didn't know. It was my fault. I didn't know I was supposed to say Shin Kobe. I just said Kobe station. So, but if I had done an Uber instead, I would have been able to put Shin Kobe, and there would have been no confusion. But the hotel called the taxi for me, so that was me, not knowing. But Uber, you put in where you are, you put in where you need to go, and like if you've used Uber before, it will get you there. And I found that the Uber drivers that are that I found the taxi drivers that are the Uber part of the Uber program, most of them speak English. And sometimes that's not always the case. Sometimes your taxi driver doesn't have very minimal English, but I felt like all of the Uber drivers spoke some sort of English and they were actually talkative. So, I mean, they're not like like they're not talking your ear for the entire trip, but they were like curious. They're like, "Oh, where are you from?" And blah blah blah, and then they would just get into the drive. So if you want a little bit more, I mean, I can't guarantee not all the Uber drivers talked and knew English, but it seemed like 80% of them did. So, and like I mentioned, there is Go, and I think it works similar. I think Go also is in other more locations that aren't like the bigger cities. I think Uber is still very much more the bigger cities. I think Go was better in some of the smaller cities in Japan. So that might be a consideration. Maybe have both as a backup if you need the taxi system. And I think that, oh, I put Tokyo Disney. So if you are going to Disney, I do recommend downloading the app. I think it's very similar to the American Disney app. So if you're used to the American Disney app, I mean, you use the same username and password, which is so good because I'm like, I don't want to learn another username and password. But, oh, I guess all the apps want updates. I was just gonna, but yeah, it's pretty much if you're used to Walt Disney World or Disneyland, um, it's, I mean, actually, Disneyland has an app. I haven't been to Disneyland in forever. I'm sorry. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's. I know you can't see it because the lighting, but it's pretty much the same. The logo looks slightly different, so if you have both, um, you'll know which one's which. But they're both blue with a castle. Oh gosh, I don't know if you heard that. I think an osprey, not the bird, the Marine Corps thing, um, was flying over. But I mean, it's very similar in design. It's wanting me to log in, which I don't want to. But it shows you park information, it shows you times, it shows you where the foods are. You you can make your reservations through the app, um, food, and also do your what do they don't call them. It's not Genie Plus. Um, Sorry, is that my password? Ugh, just wants everything. But you could do your like ticket reservations, like if you wanted to do reservations like to certain parts of the park, um, like Fantasy Spring. I'm sorry, my brain's glitching, but those like special things, like you know, are they still doing the 40th anniversary? I think they still are. So yeah, it works like the American Disney app. Very similar. So if you're used to that, it's pretty much the same. I heard that it's better if you download it within the US. Um, and that's just from a YouTuber. It was actually Disney Food Blog that suggested that to download the app in the US and get everything set up in the US and then I think she was having issues with Wi-Fi. I see. I didn't have any issues with like things connecting or like my credit card not being accepted anywhere. Um, but I mean, that is another reason why Klook is good because I think some people have issues with the Disney app being a little glitchy. Um, but I didn't have any issues. It worked pretty good for me, and I didn't have any issues. So these are just some of the apps that I use. I mean, are there more? Probably. I mean, if you have an app that you suggest, and actually, there's another app, and this has nothing to do with Japan. But if you want to keep track of like all the cities I mean, all the countries you visited, oh, where is it? Oh, did I went through a, oh, I think, oh, bin. It's called bin, BEN, and it actually keeps track of how many countries you've been to. I don't know why I have Afghanistan selected, but I haven't been to Afghanistan or Oh, I wonder if I have to log into this. Yeah, I'm like, I haven't been to any of these cities. Like, I don't even know what Brunei is, but I've not been there. I've been to Japan, um, Korea, uh, Norway, and personally, I only count countries that I like walked out of the airport. So if it's like a layover, I don't count it, So even though I've laid over in Germany and Brussels and not Brussels, but well, yeah, Brussels, Belgium, and England, I don't count that because I didn't walk out the airport. Um, but so yeah, that's a fun little app, and I guess that's the bonus. But I need to get going to my doctor's appointment. I hope these are helpful. And then, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to message me. Um, but yeah, so let me get my blood work done and I will see you tomorrow. I am trying to do a vlog every day. Please watch my content. So, uh, yeah, bye guys. Maybe. Bye. Yeah, bye for now. Stop streaming.